Hey, what's crackin' Bills? It's your boy Ente, coach of the Syracuse Sylveons, and I am coming at you with my Week 1 match versus Free, who is the coach of the Resort City Marshadows. This is Season 3 of the Draft Classic content, and if you want to stay up to date with everything Draft Classic related, maybe find some other coaches to follow, go ahead and check that Discord link in the description box below. I think we have a lot of people who are uploading videos and just a lot of fun matches to watch, so we would definitely be thrilled to have you as a part of our happy little Pokemon community. But like I said, this is a draft league battle, so I have my draft of 12 Pokemon and the Resort City Marshadows have their draft of 12 Pokemon, so I will remind everyone of those on your screen right now. And basically I had to pick 6 Pokemon that I wanted to bring and try to prepare for 6 Pokemon that Free would bring. So this is a post commentary, which is not standard for me. I do usually do live commentaries for these, but I wanted to sort of give you guys a taste of different options because I really want this series to be as enjoyable to watch as possible, as well as informative. So if you like the post commentaries, let me know. In the future, if you like the live commentaries more, let me know that. And maybe most importantly, if you want to see team builders, please let me know, because I wasn't going to do them. I was only going to touch on my team briefly. But if you like the team builders, then I will do that. On the one hand, I feel like they're long videos and maybe boring and hard to watch. But on the other hand, I can appreciate how they can be really helpful to newer players, but even veteran players, just to see into the thought process of another individual. You can find things that you can apply to your own style that maybe you haven't thought of before, so I can appreciate that. So yeah, please let me know, and I want to tailor this series to something that you enjoy watching the most. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. So I'm just going to touch on the team that I brought really quickly, and then we're going to jump into the match. So I'm only going to say a sentence or two about these just so we can get through it as quickly as possible. So Tyranitar hits like a truck. He only has one stone resist, or one rock resist, and one dark resist. So this thing is going to brutalize Pokemon repeatedly, and yeah, that's why he's coming. I wanted to pair him with Excadrill, but I was actually very scared of Sandslash running Sandstream and sweeping me with its own earthquakes. So Excadrill came off in favor of Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile, great speed control, and also appreciates Corviknight getting chunked, which is exactly what Tyranitar is going to do, hopefully. Infernape with heavy duty boots because he is almost certainly bringing Sticky Web. This is, again, nice speed control, has powerful stab, pivots, and also has coverage for that nasty Araquanid. Nidoqueen gives me a little bit of bulk, but also some offensive force, threatens things like Mega Diancie and Gengar and Serena, maybe even Araquanid, because it gets nice coverage. I'm not running Poison Stab, but I do have Earth Power. Thunderbolt is great because it can hit Corviknight and Araquanid super effectively, which are the 2 main defensive threats against my draft right now, and then Ice Beam just for coverage. Toxic Spikes as well could be nice, since if he wants to try to defog them away, he's going to defog away his own Sticky Webs, but if he wants to spin them away, then he has to switch his spinner into Toxic Spikes and get poisoned, which is great. Alomomola, because I needed a defensive tank to switch into his main offensive threats, which are Araquanid and Sandslash. Scald, Toxic Wish, nothing much to talk about there, but I do have Magic Coat. I have this sort of fantasy of bouncing back Araquanid's webs, which is why I have some speed, or actually a fair amount of speed. I wanted to make sure I could outspeed any Araquanid and try to bounce back his Sticky Webs with Magic Coat, so that could be interesting. Wasn't sure if it was going to work though. And then finally I got Mew. I was thinking about defog, but settled on just not bringing hazard removal versus Sticky Webs, which sounds suicidal, but that's what I went for anyways. Just a Calm Mind set with a lot of HP and enough speed, I think, for Silvally. And then actually not running Stab, just a bunch of coverage moves, but I think it's going to work out because I have Earth Power and Dazzling Gleam, which hits his whole draft at least neutrally, except for Corviknight, and I have Thunderbolt for Corviknight. So yes, from him I was expecting to see Corviknight, Mega Diancie, Gengar, Araquanid, Sandslash, and then I wasn't sure about his 6th. Thought it would maybe be Goodra or Reboot, but I really wasn't sure. But overall, I felt pretty prepared to take on his team. And yes, with that being said, let's just jump right over to the match itself. Alright, so this is the team that Free ended up bringing. These are the Resort City Marshadows, like I said. Actually has the Zera Aura, which I was not expecting just because of how it gets countered pretty hard by Lightning Rod, Mega Sceptile. He's also got Corviknight, which I was ready for, Mega Diancie, Araquanid, which I was definitely expecting, got the Goodra, which I was maybe anticipating, and then Articuno over Sandslash, which I was not ready for. I was definitely very prepared to see Sandslash, and I thought for sure he would bring Gengar too, just because it can outspeed and threaten both Mew and Infernape, and a choice like a Scarf set could even threaten Mega Sceptile, so I was definitely expecting to see the Gengar, but the fact that I don't means that Toxic Spikes are going to be great, since he cannot switch his Poison type into them and like suck them up. He's got to get rid of them himself, and it looks like he's bringing the Defog, if anything, because he does not have a Rapid Spinner on his team at the moment. I went into this match knowing I was going to lead Tyranitar basically no matter what, and looking at this, that changes nothing because Tyranitar is really the only thing that can truly deny Araquanid from setting up its webs. I could have led Alomomola to try to bounce them back, but I thought that I should just try to lead Tyranitar because he has nothing to switch into Tyranitar since he doesn't have Sandslash. So that is basically exactly what happened. So I do lead with the Tyranitar. He brings out his Araquanid. Like I just said, he's got nothing to switch into this. He tries to switch Corviknight into this, but it takes 53% from a Stone Edge. That is the beauty of Choice Band, baby. King Tut is claiming lives. So he, in fact, took that so poorly that I was kind of worried that he might be speed invested. I was trying to do the calcs, and it was hard to tell. This was either an average roll on a fully defensive Corviknight or a low roll on a speed invested Corviknight, and I didn't want to risk it because I want Tyranitar to continue breaking stuff. So I actually switched him out, which looks weird since it's a 2-hit KO and I should be faster, but I'm scared, so I go into Nidoqueen, which ends up being fine because he goes right out into Diancie, which reveals to me that he is probably not Speedy Corviknight because he would have just stayed it and tried to body press me and murder me. So this is, again, great. I don't think there's any way he's going to stay in here, so I go for a risky Thunderbolt trying to predict the Corviknight, and in fact the Corviknight does come back out and gets taken out by Thunderbolt. So this is great for me already. Mega Sceptile is looking fantastic now. If he can set up a Dragon Dance, really nothing on this team wants to deal with that. I just need to get a little chip damage on the Articuno, and Mega Sceptile should be good to go. So that's my game plan now, is try to get Mega Sceptile set up with the Dragon Dance and win the game from there. So he goes into Araquanid now because he got a free switch into it and is able to set up his Sticky Webs, but I just exchanged 2 layers of Toxic Spikes for that and let Nidoqueen go down. I'm not sure if this was the right play. I think it's not that bad to exchange these hazards because I'm not sure right now how this match is going to play itself out, but having 2 layers of Toxic Spikes would be great against especially something like Araquanid that has the potential to just sit and wall most of my team, except for Tyranitar. So yeah, looking at my team, you can tell that I have nothing that wants to really come in right now, so it's got to be Alomomola, and we just end up exchanging Toxics here, because I need to force this thing to switch out, because nothing on my team is going to force him to switch out anymore, because webs are up, and Tyranitar is slower, and will get brutalized by Liquidation or a Bug move if he has it. So I need to find another way to switch him, to force him to switch, and unfortunately Toxic is how it's got to be. So I do go for the Toxic, and he does switch out here. I think I just go for a Wish. I'm definitely fearing the Freeze Dry here, and I do not want Alomomola taking any damage, so I just make the safe switch into Tyranitar. He predicts that nicely and goes into his Araquanid, which is a force to be reckoned with. I'm just going to keep making the safe play. I know he can't touch Alomomola, so I just go right back into it, and we are back where we started. I think I end up going for a Wish again here, and things might change here. I might stay in. Nope, just go right back out in Tyranitar. So I'm not bothering to predict anything. I think he goes for Heal Bell here, yeah. So that's going to be annoying to deal with, but it looks like he's not bothering to get rid of the hazards, so things are just going to keep getting poisoned, which is fine by me. He tries to switch Mega Diancie into Tyranitar now. I mean, the beast is in. He's got nothing to switch into this, clearly, because Diancie just takes 80% from the Stone Edge. But I do not want Tyranitar taking any damage. He sets up rocks, expecting my outswitch, which was a nice play. So now I have to deal with those, but my team right now isn't too rock weak at the moment, especially because Infernape has heavy-duty boots, so I'm not too torn up about that at the moment. I guess he just wants to try to get chipped on Alomomola, but Regenerator sort of negates that. So he switches out, saves the Diancie for fodder. I end up staying in here on a Freeze Dry, and we do live and get the Toxic on Articuno now, which is great because this thing obviously isn't getting affected by the Toxic Spikes. Goes for the Heal Bell again as I go into Infernape, expecting another Ice move, and he just sacks his Mega Diancie to a U-turn, which is kind of unfortunate because now I'm giving him Switch Initiative. I knocked him out with a U-turn, and then I send out Mega Sceptile, and he, in response, can send out basically whatever he wants. So what he wants to send out is going to be, of course, the Articuno, because the typing is very strongly in Articuno's favor here. I was pretty tunneled on the Ice move here. I should just be going Tyranitar every single time because it should take those moves pretty easily, but I actually end up going into Infernape, which gets bopped by a strong Hurricane. So I was playing really well at the beginning. I was executing my game plan very well. I managed to catch the Corviknight and get lots of chunk with Tyranitar. I took out Mega Diancie as well, and Tyranitar is just exerting extreme pressure, but I'm kind of throwing it away a little bit now, making risky plays. I should not be switching Infernape into a potential flying move. This is definitely a no-go. Tyranitar was definitely the safer play there. But the silver lining is that now Mew can come in for free and just sort of start setting up Calm Minds. I know I'm tanky enough to take a hit from Articuno, but I'm also tanky enough to take hits from Zeraora as well as Araquanid, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now, just going for a nice and easy Calm Mind and see what he decides to do. He ends up deciding to go into the Zeraora and click the Plasma Fists, which, again, you can see that's a 2-hit KO, and I have the Earth Power coverage for him. I didn't think he was going to stay in here. I thought he'd maybe try to save this, but I didn't want to overpredict and accidentally, throw the game. So I just click Earth Power again, even though the Araquanid switch is pretty obvious. I do have Thunderbolt coverage for it, though, and it eats its Wakan Berry. Is that Wakan? Yes. To reduce the damage. So it did 25%. So I know that next turn it's going to do around 50%, so we can see that it should KO from here, and he is not faster than me. However, I do remember that Zeraora has Volt Absorb, so I actually just go for the safe Dazzling Gleam here instead of the Thunderbolt. I don't want to heal him, obviously. So I do get a nice catch on the Zeraora. So now he's going to go into Goodra, and this is where things start getting unfortunate for free. He misses the Dragon Tail, which really sucks. I don't know. Obviously, I can't predict what I would have gone into. I don't think he can do too much to Alomomola. It might have just been sort of stally. Mega Sceptile would have been brutal for him because it would have gotten... I'm almost positive it's still faster, even from -1, and would have been able to go for a Dragon-type move, or even set up if I was so inclined. And then Tyranitar would have been bad for me because I believe he's faster when I'm -1, and he revealed after the match that he was Body Press, which definitely, pretty sure that would have killed me. So that Dragon Tail miss was definitely unfortunate. Hard to know how it would have played out, but what is super unfortunate is he actually misses it twice. And I don't know, on this third one, I assume I'm just faster, even from -1. And that he didn't try to click it again, but I'm not sure what happened on that third turn, but regardless, he ends up going down after missing 2 Dragon Tails, which is extremely unfortunate. Only a 1% chance of that happening, and Yeah, definitely sucks for him. He's in the hole now. He has to bank on hacks of his own, because the only way he gets out of the situation now is if he freezes me, which I don't even know if freeze dry has a chance to freeze. I'm pretty sure only ice beam does, but he has to freeze me if that's a possibility, or he has to land a hurricane. I have to get confused, and I have to hit myself. So that's his out right now, is to try to confuse me. But so he misses the hurricane there, and I crit him with Thunderbolt afterwards, which, whew, I felt really bad playing this game. Just, I mean, this isn't even halfway there, honestly. You're about to see some shenanigans, but this Articuno has been cursed for knocking out Infernape. The curse of Infernape from the grave is making this the most inaccurate Articuno you've ever seen, as it once again misses a hurricane. I am just going to start going for Calm Minds if he is going to keep missing hurricane, because when he's roosting, he's losing his flying typing, and Thunderbolt isn't dealing a lot of damage. So yeah, he does land a hurricane, but I'm +2 Spadef now, and it only does 17%, and he does not get the confuse. So I don't like to speculate about what could have happened, or about what should have happened. This is what happened, and that's the game, that's Pokemon. And I mean, you can probably tell by now that I'm going to win with this thing, as he misses another hurricane. He needed hacks of his own to get out of the situation. Goodra missing Dragon Tail was huge and put him in this situation. If that hadn't happened, it's almost impossible to say about how this game would have played out, because it would have depended on what I got Dragon Tailed into. But the fact that he missed 2 Dragon Tails kind of sealed the deal from him. Articuno would have needed to confuse me, and I would have needed to hit myself in order for him to get out of that situation. So definitely sucks. A whole lot of hacks at the end there, and Mew just dodging left and right. I had to check to make sure I didn't put Bright Powder on this thing. But really massive shout out to Free for taking that loss in stride and not getting super bummed out about the hacks, which is definitely a lot more than I could say about myself. If I was in his situation, I probably would be fuming. So I think credit where credit is due. Free was very gracious in defeat here, especially given the circumstances. So definitely a big shout out to the Resort City Marshadows. But that is my week 1 match. We started with a nice 4-0 win, which is a great way to start the season. I'm not used to starting seasons with wins, so this is a new feeling for me. And I'm excited to come back week 2. Hopefully not nearly as much hacks as this week was. Even when hacks is in your favor, it doesn't feel good to win a game like this. So yeah, I think that's all I really need to say about that. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I hope you're having an excellent day and staying safe and healthy during quarantine. This has been Entei, and Krakenation out.